Okay, I'm making this video to talk about the ideal gas law in chemistry and how it is actually able to be applied to human consciousness and how we ascend. In 1662, Boyle's law was discovered that pressure times volume equals a constant as long as the temperature remains the same. In 1787, Jacques Charles discovered that volume divided by temperature equals a constant as long as the pressure remains the same. And in 1811, Armando Avogadro discovered that volume divided by the amount of moles in a material equals a constant. These are all saying the same thing. A balloon stays inflated because the molecules inside are bouncing with greater force, hitting the edge than the molecules outside. We can think of the soul as a balloon outside of the body, acting as a 2D information barrier. And we calculate pressure by dividing force over an area, where 1 atmosphere of pressure is equal to 101,325 pascals, which we usually just call 100,000 pascals. And the area of a balloon will expand as the force, which is the gas inside the balloon, is increased. In terms of a soul, we can see the pressure that is applied to your consciousness for you to evolve as the volume of what your nervous system can handle as it expands. As you bring your subconscious into conscious awareness, you're able to handle more pressure and you're ascending, going up this scale invariant spatial axis, which I've mentioned several times in ADS-CFT correspondence. And temperature is just kinetic energy. So as temperature goes up, so will the pressure, as the particles in the system are moving faster. You ascend closer to source or reach higher levels of enlightenment. You are moving closer to the alpha point along this scale invariant spatial axis, closer to what is pure potential. When a soul falls or comes into this third dimension, it's like if you put a can in boiling water in a cold ice bowl. The can will collapse as the temperature drastically decreases, this lower reality, and N is also decreasing as water vapor condenses to liquid water disappearing from its gas phase. The pressure decreases as the lower temperature causes the molecules to move at a slower rate. The volume drops too, and the pressure inside goes so low that the atmospheric pressure actually collapses the can. So as the soul goes from a higher energetic reality to a lower one, this third dimension, the collapsing of the can from the atmospheric pressure is what happens to our soul as we come down. That is us forgetting. We are shifting from a higher to a lower energetic state. And the ideal gas law can be seen as how consciousness ascension happens. And it is P times V equals N times R times T. This can be interpreted as P, soul pressure, equals V, your conscious capacity, times N is awareness or your molecular presence, times R, which is the universal constant or spiritual law, and T is the temperature, vibration, or your kinetic energy, where P, pressure, force per area, and this soul kind of interpretation is the internal energy or spirit, divine will, or life events that push us for growth. Area is the surface area of your consciousness container, your nervous system, the field of your awareness. Ascension means increased internal force through awareness, synchronicity, or pain, which expands the soul's containment field. If the area is rigid, pressure increases until rupture, breakdowns, traumas, or ego deaths. If the soul is fluid and you can go with the changes, volume increases, keeping the pressure manageable. This is integration rather than bypassing, which just leads to a type of implosion. Now, volume is how much consciousness you can hold spiritually. This represents your emotional capacity, your mental spaciousness, and a kind of bandwidth that you can hold. Trauma reduces this volume. Healing expands it, and the nervous system is the vessel. It either constricts under the fear or opens through full surrender. And N, which represents the number of moles, we can view as the number of particles of your soul, the fragments. And so suppressed emotions or realizations is a molecule in the system. And as you bring the subconscious into conscious awareness, N increases. For the system to remain balanced, V or T must increase too, or pressure will spike. Expansion of awareness requires either a rise in vibration or an expansion in capacity to prevent spiritual pressure from becoming overwhelming, again leading to an explosion, which would be ego death or a burnout or a collapse. So T, temperature, equals kinetic energy, equals vibration. So temperature is motion. Spirituality, in a sense, this would be your frequency. When your vibration rises, which is dictated by your subconscious through meditation, shadow work, devotion, or surrender, the temperature increases and the molecules, thoughts, feelings, and memories move more rapidly. This contributes to an expansion of your processing mental faculties, with V allowing consciousness to rise up this scale invariant spatial axis, symbolically towards the source or alpha point of pure potentiality. And this is going up Mount Meru. R is the constant, divine law. R represents the unchanging spiritual laws or divine ratios. It is the glue that makes the rest of the equation universally true. In spiritual terms, it is the law of harmony, karma, and balance. So whether you're in a good old physical 3D body or a higher density being, R governs the conversion of energy from higher realities into physical reality. And the collapsing can is the descent of the soul into the 3D. And placing it in a cold bowl of ice is the soul's descent. The sudden drop in temperature is the same as the incarnation into a lower vibrational field, this physical reality. The vapor condenses is the subtle soul essence becoming dense in form, and the pressure inside the can drops is the reduced access we have to divine clarity or higher awareness. And external pressure is the weight of the world, ego, culture, and trauma. The can collapses because its internal temperature, spiritual vitality, drops too fast to maintain volume. Likewise, the soul entering the third dimension collapses into density and forgetfulness. The spiritual journey is about re-expanding that internal force and volume through vibration and awareness. And with ADS CFT, conformal field theory, is the soul's membrane. It is a correspondence in physics and suggests that 3D space with gravity can be described by a two-dimensional quantum field theory as its boundary. Spiritually, the soul functions as a 2D information barrier, a membrane. It's the event horizon of individuality, holding the encoded memory of our experiences on this edge. It's the healing process where we can bring the external to the internal. And trauma will distort or fragment this boundary, resulting in us identifying with the self and appearing disconnected from everything. And the more we refine and integrate this soul membrane, the clearer the field and the higher one ascends along this spatial axis of consciousness as we cut cords and get rid of subconscious limiting beliefs which keep us trapped at lower vibrational levels. And we go from one grid to another and another. So I hope that you found this interesting, and yeah, if you did, please go check out my Patreon, leave a like or a comment, subscribe, all that, and I hope you guys have a great day.